Hi, I'm Donna from the North Carroll branch. Welcome to What to Read Wednesday. Do you believe in love at first sight? If the answer is yes, I have just the book for you. If the answer is no, you might change your mind after reading this book. No matter what your answer, this book is a great read. The book I'm speaking of is One Day in December by Josie Silver. Published in 2018, it is the author's debut novel. It was on the New York Times bestseller list and has been published in over 25 languages. You may have heard of this title as it was a Reese Witherspoon pick for her book club. The reviews have been great for this book. Kirkus Reviews said, "The pace is just right, the tone warm, the characters sympathetic. Anyone who believes in true love or is simply willing to accept it as the premise of a winding tale will find this debut an emotionally satisfying read." Silver writes with verve and charm in this debut, and readers will be pulling for Laurie and Jack as they detour through missteps and misunderstandings, says Booklist. The bookseller hailed it as the novelistic equivalent to Love Actually. So, is this just a fun holiday story where two characters fall in love and the rest is a Hallmark movie? It might start out feeling like that, but it's so much more. Laurie is tired and weary from another day at her job working at a hotel reception desk in London. It's Christmas time, but all Laurie wants to do is get home. She boards a bus and gamely tries to ignore all that's going on around her, from the noisy school kids to the large man beside her taking up most of the seat to the woman with the dandruff in front of her. The bus comes to a stop. While some people get off and more get on, Laurie catches sight of a young man sitting in the bus shelter. He's reading a book and seems to be oblivious to all that's going on around him. Laurie wipes the steamed-up window to get a look at what he's reading, when suddenly the man looks up and blinks. He looks right at Laurie. They stare at each other, and Laurie feels an urgent need to get off the bus to get to him. But she doesn't because the bus is so packed. She tries to convey to him to get on board using just the hot, desperate longing in her eyes, because she feels sure that the same thunderbolt hit him too. His look is one of recognition, of joy and excitement, and Laurie feels the same. They smile at each other. He looks at the line of people boarding and appears to have decided to join them. He snaps his book closed and walks toward the bus. Laurie holds her breath as he approaches the queue. But then there's the hiss of the doors closing, and he hasn't been able to climb aboard. The bus takes off, and Laurie is left with the image of the man looking breathless and defeated. Laurie blows him a kiss and watches him until he is out of sight. Oh, why didn't she think to write her cell phone number on something to hold up to the window? Or maybe open the window and yell her name or something. She kicks herself, but there is nothing to be done. She has fallen in love at first sight for one glorious minute on December 21st, 2008. Laurie has two resolutions for 2009. Find the boy from the bus stop and get a proper job in magazines. She and her best friend Sarah have christened the man Busboy and are constantly on the lookout for him. For an entire year, Laurie looks for him unsuccessfully. Sarah does her best by playing matchmaker, but Laurie just wants Busboy. Laurie and Sarah are going to have a Christmas party. Sarah has invited David, who will certainly be the perfect match for Laurie. She is also anxious to introduce her new boyfriend to Laurie. Laurie has heard all about Jack, how wonderful and polite he is, and actually TMI about what a great lover he is. The party is going well, and Laurie is starting to enjoy being with David, her blind date. Sarah comes over and grabs Laurie's hand and leads her through the crowd. "Laurie, meet Jack," she says. Laurie gets ready to say hello when she looks at him and realizes this is Busboy. Laurie is overcome with emotion, with joy at finally seeing him again, with sorrow that he is with her best friend whom she dearly loves, with confusion and hope, and then reality hits her. Sarah has been Laurie's best friend since college, and they are so close. They think of each other as sisters. Sarah looks so happy with Jack. Laurie knows she can never admit that Jack is her beloved busboy. Her dreams are crushed. For his part, Jack definitely remembers Laurie as well. He does not acknowledge their meeting either. He thinks, I don't want things between me and Laurie to feel awkward, but they do, and I know it's my fault. She probably thinks I'm some kind of exceptionally dull weirdo because my conversational skills dry up around her. It's just that I'm trying to establish her place in my head as Sarah's friend, rather than the girl I saw once and have thought of often since. He struggles with this reality often. Neither Jack nor Laurie utters a word. Neither wants to lose Sarah. Sarah is determined that Laurie and Jack become friends, so they are thrown together often. Laurie tries her best to keep away from Jack. She realizes there is now a wedge between her friendship with Sarah, but is determined to overcome this. But circumstances prevail, and she and Jack grow closer. So what happens next? Lots. 10 years worth of life happens to the trio. Friendship, love, vacations, accidents, weddings, parties, work, successes, and missed opportunities. Jack, Laurie, and Sarah are all imperfect human beings striving to find happiness while doing the right thing. I share this book because I really enjoyed the story. I think this one goes beyond the typical Harlequin-type story and is not a picture-perfect romance. I really like the characters, though I got impatient with them at times. Be aware, this book does contain some language and adult situations. But still, if you're looking for a romance full of warmth, humor, and all the imperfections of what life can throw at you, this may be the book for you. By the way, Josie Silver has published her second book this year. The Two Lives of Lydia Bird is also a love story, but very different from One Day in December, but still good. You can find both of these titles at CCPL in book format and in Overdrive and Libby as both ebook and e-audiobook. Thanks for watching today. Remember, What to Read Wednesday happens each week at noon.